afternoon. DJ Wonder Chrissy here. It is Friday. We're headed to the weekend. Yes, we are. We are headed to the weekend. It is February 16th. And it's about a little bit afternoon here in Chicago. It's 28 degrees Fahrenheit. We're in for a little chilly weekend. Snow is gone. Sun not so much out anymore. But it's a normal winter day here in Chicagoland. So today we got a good show for you. Gonna take you guys first over to Boston, where they're talking about putting people in residents' houses there because they're running out of room for the shelters. They need to clear the airport, like many of the places that utilize the airport, which is against federal law, folks. It is against federal law to store migrants in an airport because it's funded by the government and you're not supposed to do that. So just in the last couple of weeks, you've seen a concerted effort among Boston and Chicago for sure, getting people out of their airports as shelters. I think right now in Chicago we got 28 shelters. And New York City's got like 200. I don't know what they have in Boston, but they're looking to have people invite unvetted migrants into their homes. So let's listen to this video, and this will make you cringe for sure.
Boston is running out of room to house migrants, and one Democrat city council member wants residents in the suburbs to start taking them in. She says Dedham, Wellesley, Brookline, cities and towns that have so much more resources in the city of Boston, people who actually have more financial support, and we need to do everything in our power to make sure that we are setting them up for success, or whatever success looks like. I think everyone should be opening up their doors because this is a shared responsibility.
And she joins us now. It's great to have you here. If I'm a resident of Wellesley, Dedham, or Brookline, I'm thinking, since when does your horrible sanctuary city policy, Councilwoman Mejia, create a responsibility for me? What say you, Grace?
I agree, and when we saw this happening in Martha's Vineyard, it didn't go well. That was in 2022. Martha's Vineyard, home to John Kerry and Barack Obama, when they received 50 migrants from Ron DeSantis, they brought in the National Guard. So this isn't going to be a kumbaya moment. This is probably going to create a lot of issues, and there's going to be a lot of unhappy people out there.
Yeah, and this is the genius of Governor Greg Abbott by busing migrants. He made this an issue for blue cities with progressive lawmakers who had previously called for open borders, and now a lot of black residents.
Be careful what you ask for, right? The progressives asked for this, and now they've got it. Now they're trying to figure out what to do with it.
Are angry, and because of this and the economy, those once solidly blue voters, some people say, are up for grabs, and Joe Biden cannot afford that.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you guys brought up Melnia Cass, because that's a recreation center, and that was used for a lot of these young kids to go, and whether it's practice track or just hang out, that was a really important area in that community, and people aren't happy about it, and this is what's going to happen, and people were holding signs, why us, why not Wellesley, and it seems like politicians now are starting to get that pushback from their residents, from their constituents, and they're panicking a little bit. They're doing things I never thought I'd see them do, like calling on these suburbs, and a lot of people who have signs on their front yard that say, you know, hate has no home here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many of those signs anymore in my neighborhood for some reason. Those signs seem to have disappeared real quickly. So if you see any of those signs, let us know. We'll send some migrants over to them.
No human is illegal. Well, now they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is, it seems.
Grace, what do you think? What are people saying in your neck of the woods? Do you think anybody will actually house these migrants?
There's been a couple of...
There's an idiot born every minute, folks.
Local news news stories about people in Brookline and other places taking in migrants. So some people aren't hypocrites. Some people say, listen, this is what I stand
They're just stupid. They're not hypocrites. They're just stupid.
for, and I will take people in. I mean, it's not that many. It's not enough to handle the influx that we're seeing by any means, but there are some people, and I give them credit, who aren't afraid to say, listen, I have said I'm open to a sanctuary city or a sanctuary town, and so my door is open.
My concern with that, you are basically opening your doors to an unvetted stranger on the one hand, and secondarily, you are normalizing illegality. So even though you think you're doing something magnanimous, I think it's a bad thing for our country. I want to get your thoughts on this before we let you go. The San Diego border sector just arresting 269 Chinese migrants on Monday.
Anybody need a new Chinese restaurant in their town? Invite some of these folks in.
Take a look at this comparison, Grace. 450 Chinese nationals were encountered at our southern border in fiscal year 2021. More than 20,000
Shocking numbers here, folks. Look at that. 450 all the way to more than 20,000 this year.
have already been encountered this fiscal year. That's quite a jump. So-called immigration experts say it's unlikely these are CCP agents. Are you buying that, Grace?
No, I'm not. And of course, not everyone who's coming into this country has nefarious intentions, but we'd be naive to not think people are taking advantage of this. And Todd, it actually goes back to what you just said. It's about the incentivization. It's about incentivizing people to come over here and making it obvious that we have a porous border, that you can get through, that there's not going to be a lot of punishment or even vetting if you want to do that. And if you're a Chinese national, or if you're anyone in any part of the world, and this is what you want to do, now seems to be the time. Especially, we're heading into an election. People realize that if they don't make this decision now, if they don't take advantage of this now, they might not have...
The rush is coming, folks. The rush is coming. Look for the rest of the year. There's going to be a huge rush.
The opportunity come 2020, to come the election in November, and hopefully if there's somebody else in charge.
Yeah, many of these Chinese migrants say that they're here because of the strict COVID lockdowns. Their businesses shut down, so they're coming here for a better life. But then a lot of them are also military-age men, which is raising a lot of concerns.
You saw that video.
Yeah, and just them scampering into the United States from that open section in California. They know where to go, because it says it on TikTok as well, which is another big issue. Grace, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Grace.
it.
So there you go, folks. Didn't give you a like, share, and subscribe. I'm DJ Wonder Chrissy, and this is Migrant Mayhem. We're here to give you guys an update on what's going on with the migrants. We are located in Chicago. Let's check in with Brandon. Brandon just can't help himself. I can't explain, but he just keeps stepping in the doo-doo. He's gotten into an issue with ShotSpotter, and now he's running into problems with questions that he can't answer about funding, and how Cook County and the state are going to fund, but the city of Chicago not going to fund. It's kind of an interesting black hole, as it would be. Maybe Chicago has finally run out of money, folks. Just a thought, but who knows? But let's play this video that talks about the funding that was, I guess, had a meeting yesterday between various parties, and city of Chicago wasn't part of the funding for some reason.
Money for migrants is coming, but not from the city. The state and Cook County announcing $250 million more will be given to the city of Chicago for the migrant mission.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, when asked how he'd fund the remainder, wouldn't say. Franza was at a heated afternoon news conference. Sabrina, what's happening?
Erica, basically the state, county, and city all came together to talk about how much they can pool together to pay for the migrant mission this year. They came up with a total, an estimate of $321 million through the end of 2024. The state committed more money, Cook County committed more money, but no word from the city.
I'm engaging with the county and the states because that's what leaders do. I made a commitment to collaborating with people.
This guy's got a lot of good word salad going on. So listen to him and get your salad dressing out. He's definitely got some word salad going here.
There are a lot of things to consider in this entire operation. It's not just financial resources.
As we mentioned, the city, state, and county came up with a number, that number $321 million to maintain the migrant population through the end of this year. The city had already pledged $150 million in this year's fiscal calendar from the city's budget. That's not enough to last past the beginning of April. Now, on top of the previously committed $160 million from the state for this year and the $100 million the county committed for this year, the state and county are pledging a combined $200.
So as you can see, folks, it is it is a money and tax hole. It's just a hole. It's a black hole. Look at it. Look at all these numbers that just keep flying in from somewhere. I don't know where they're getting all this money from, but it's certainly not going to be able to be used for other things if we're spending all this on migrants. It's getting worse by the day here in Chicago.
$50 million additional dollars.
We actually don't know how many more buses are going to come as we lead up to the DNC. That's the type
I think you can bet on quite a few, Brandon.
of sophistication I was hoping that people would understand. That to talk about a single number without fully knowing all of the complexities that relate to this mission is...
The mission!
It's short-sighted.
Now, the mayor there saying that this might not still be enough for all of the migrants that are expected to come between now and especially between now and the DNC. He was asked repeatedly how he would make up the difference in the amount of money, $70 million that they say is missing. We reached out to the governor's office for a response to all that, and they reiterated that they have contributed $250 million between the state and the county, and they told us that we will have to ask the city for their plans for the remaining $70 million that all parties have agreed is needed to fund the migrant mission. That is a quote from the state, and again, we've asked the mayor for that, and he did not tell us specifically. Live in the newsroom, Sabrina Franza, CBS 2 News.
So there you have it, the the rift between JB and Brandon just gets bigger. The rift gets bigger, and I wish that I could say that's the only problem the city of Chicago has. I'm going to show you here where crime, lawlessness and crime is just going through the roof. So let's look at this this little clip here about what's happening in the South Loop and some of the crime that's happening there.
Tracking a chance of snow and some colder temperatures. But let's begin with your nonstop news. Some drivers in the South Loop are waking up to a nasty surprise this morning. Yeah, this after police say more than a dozen car windows were smashed open overnight near 16th and Indiana. CBS 2's Mugo Adiwe is live at the scene. And Mugo, how are things looking right now?
Well, Jackie and Dana, this happened at 2 this morning, right? And hours later, some of those cars are still out here. I'm going to step out of the way real quick just to give you a sense of what the scene looks like. There is this white car here with the driver's side window open. That is a story from many of the cars affected. The driver's side window smashed in. And then you can see this couple here as well, trying to remove some of the damage from their car from when those windows were smashed in. We talked to them earlier this morning as well, and they were very, very shocked when they first came out here. But if we pan down the street, what you're going to see as well, and our photo...
Welcome to Chicago, folks. Make sure your insurance is paid up and you have your head on a swivel. That's all I got to say.
Journalist Aaron is getting there. You're going to see this black car here.
This is a nice neighborhood. Look at the nice housing there and parking on the street. Anything can happen.
Also smashed in. There's a white car in front of it, window also smashed in. This is a story for several cars down this block, but let me give you a closer view of what we're seeing. Take a look at this video here. You're going to see this notice. It's a car break-in notice from Chicago police. It's basically to alert drivers whose vehicles were broken into. Chicago police say 20 to 25 cars were smashed in.
Not just one or two, 20 or 25. That's ridiculous. That is a crisis. I wonder if Brandon's going to create a mission for this.
They tell us a witness saw 3 guys get out of a black sedan.
Look at that, nice Mercedes. We had Discovery there, looked like. Range Rover.
16th in Indiana, again at 2 this morning. The suspects then started shattering the driver's side windows of those nearby vehicles.
There you go.
Legally parked, by the way. It's not clear if anything was stolen at this point, but we spoke to a driver. Again, we showed you the couple earlier, and they tell us the suspects rummaged through their car looking for valuables because everything inside was thrown around.
My boyfriend goes to work, literally leaves around 5:50 every morning to go to work. And then I see it on the news, over 20 cars in South Loop got like, I call him, I'm like, hey, how's your car? And he literally is like, yeah, no.
It's unfortunate, but it could be worse, I guess.
Has this happened to you before?
This is the second time it's happened, yeah.
Not even the first time, folks. Multiple times. These people need to have their head examined. This is why a lot of people are moving out of the city and into the far reaching of the burbs, if they can.
Yeah, the last time was in August.
Unfortunately,
There you go, every 6 months, like clockwork.
time this has happened to him. I asked him if anything was taken from his car. He says nothing really, but he is missing his AirPods. So it does seem like those suspects took that from his car. Chicago police had said it wasn't clear if anything was taken, but there's no way to know that until those drivers come to check out their cars and then see that, hey, I'm missing this or I'm missing that. At this point, no arrests in this case, but again, as you both mentioned, a very, very unfortunate situation on a Friday morning, especially for those who are trying to head to work. We're live in the South Loop. CBS 2 News.
Are you hungry right?
So there you go, hot off the press. That is what Chicago is like, folks. It's not just migrants, it's crime, it's inflation, it's you name it. No snow, but you name it, we got everything else right now. And I don't know what to tell you, folks. It's not good in the city of Chicago. I keep telling people that. I see comments on my page where, oh, I used to love living in Chicago. The last 3 to 5 years, Chicago has changed drastically, folks. The crime has skyrocketed. The people, the mass exodus, it's not just Chicago, it's the state of Illinois. Financially, this place is a wreck. It's a mess. It cannot be saved. They're deceiving everyone. You're going to see taxes go through the roof more and more if they're not already. We're paying 5.25% income tax right now. I suspect that they're going to ramp that up here in the near future. Real estate taxes are going up by hundreds, if not thousands. I'm seeing reports in the city of Chicago and Cook County where tax bills went up by thousands, not just hundreds. They're pricing people out of their houses, and it's not a good thing. It's certainly not a good thing. So comment down below what you think. Would you move to Chicago? Would you come live in the inner city and be a friend of Brandon's, right? Would you want to be a friend of Brandon's? Do you got the money to move into the city of Chicago and pay for your car to be repaired every 6 months when the criminals break into it? I couldn't deal with that, folks. Certainly I could not. So thank you for watching. This is Migrant Mayhem. I am DJ Wonder Chrissy. This is Land Cruiser Midwest. Like, share, and subscribe if you would. It makes a big difference with the algorithm, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's update. Have a good weekend and check back for our updates as we go through the weekend. Over and out. God bless America.